is one of those places I had seen so many times in pictures, but honestly, I don't think you can really understand it until you're there. I didn't come to Ireland just to check places off a list. I wanted to slow down, walk around, take the trains, explore small towns, and see where each day would take me. I started in Dublin, and one of my first stops was Temple Bar. It's busy, colorful, full of music, pubs, restaurants, and people. Yes, it's touristy, but I actually loved the energy. And of course, I had to stop for a drink. You can't come to Ireland and not experience an Irish pub. I wanted to get out and see the coast. One thing I really loved about Ireland was how easy it was to get around. You can be in the middle of Dublin, and not long after, you're standing next to the ocean. Portmarnock felt like a completely different world. The city disappears, the pace slows down, and suddenly you're surrounded by the beach, the wind, and the Atlantic. I walked around with my camera, took in the views, and just enjoyed being there. Sometimes traveling is that simple. You walk, you look around, you find something beautiful, and you keep going. After all that exploring, I even managed to find some Brazilian food, which was a really nice surprise. Being so far from home, finding a little taste of Brazil made me feel good. After eating, I went down to the ocean for a while before catching the train to my next destination. I walked along the water, took some footage, and just enjoyed the view. There's something about being near the ocean that always makes me slow down and appreciate where I am. But eventually, it was time to head back to the train station. Another train, another destination, and another little story waiting for me. I made my way to Howth, and this was one of those places that immediately caught my attention. The cliffs, the ocean, the harbor, and all the boats made everything look cinematic. I spent time walking around and taking in the views, and I started realizing that one of my favorite things about Ireland wasn't necessarily one specific attraction. It was the coastline itself. Everywhere I went, there seemed to be another beautiful view waiting for me. Another little town, another train ride, another place where I could stop and look at the ocean. As a filmmaker, it was impossible not to keep reaching for my camera. I also spent some time in Blackrock. It felt different from some of the more dramatic coastal areas. But that was exactly what I liked about it. Ireland doesn't feel like one single experience. Every town seems to have its own personality. You can walk through quiet streets, find a little cafe, sit near the water, and just watch everyday life happening around you. And that was really what I wanted from this trip. I didn't want to only see the famous tourist attractions. I wanted to experience what Ireland actually feels like when you slow down, walk around, and take your time. Sometimes the simple moments become the best memories. Dublin, of course. I kept coming back to Dublin. There's so much happening in the city. The architecture, the pubs, the streets, the music, and the people all give Dublin its own personality. I loved walking around without necessarily having a plan. That's one of my favorite things about traveling. You can have your camera in your hand, turn down a street you've never seen before, and suddenly discover something completely unexpected. Dublin has that feeling. There's history everywhere, but at the same time, the city feels young and alive. I could spend hours just walking around, filming little moments, and seeing where the streets would take me. Looking back at this trip, I think what I loved most wasn't one specific location. It was the way everything connected. The trains, the coastline, the little towns, Dublin, the pubs, the beaches, the forests, the people, and all those little moments in between. Ireland reminded me why I love traveling the way I do. I don't really want to stay in one place the entire time. I want to get on a train, look out the window, get off somewhere I've never been, walk around with my camera and see what I can find. Ireland is perfect for that kind of travel. You never really know where the next story is going to come from. Exploring is a big part of my life. There's something about arriving somewhere I've never been before and not knowing exactly what I'm going to find. And when that place has history, old streets, old buildings, and stories that go back hundreds of years, it makes the experience even more special for me. I love walking through places where people lived, worked, celebrated, and built their lives long before I ever arrived. It makes me feel connected to something bigger than myself. I think that's what makes me feel alive when I travel. I'm not just visiting a place, I'm experiencing it, learning from it, and creating my own memories there. And with my camera in my hand, I get to capture a little piece of that feeling and take the story with me. And then I discovered Skerries. There was something about this place that really stayed with me. It's beautiful, but it doesn't feel like it's trying too hard to be beautiful. It just feels naturally beautiful. The harbor, the water, the little streets, the boats, and the people made it feel so relaxed. I could walk around Skerries for hours. Honestly, I think this became my favorite place in Ireland. There was something peaceful about it. I could spend an entire afternoon here doing absolutely nothing. Just walking, having a coffee, grabbing something to eat, or sitting near the water. Sometimes your favorite place isn't the one with the biggest attraction. It's simply the place that makes you feel good. There was Balbriggan. This was where I was staying, so it became my little home base in Ireland. Because I was there for a while, I started seeing it differently. It wasn't just another place on the map. I started recognizing the streets, the train station, the little places around town, and even the way the light looked in the evening. That's what happens when you stay somewhere instead of simply passing through. You start to feel connected to it. Balbriggan became that place for me. It was where I came back at the end of the day, and honestly, I really loved that feeling. It became part of my Ireland experience. I went out to explore another beautiful area around the coast and ended up discovering Pier Gates Forest. It was completely different from the beaches and cities I'd been exploring. Ireland has this incredible ability to change its scenery so quickly. 1 minute, you're looking at the ocean, and the next, you're walking through a forest surrounded by green. That's one of the things that made traveling around Ireland so much fun for me. You never really know what you're going to find. And of course, I had my camera with me. Every new place gave me something different to capture, whether it was the landscape, the light, or just a small moment along the way. And somehow I kept finding myself going back to Scaries. I think that says something. When you travel, sometimes there's one place that you simply don't get tired of. For me, that was Scaries. I could go back again and again and still find something new. Maybe it was the harbor, maybe it was the ocean, or maybe it was just the feeling of the town. Whatever it was, Scaries became my favorite place in Ireland. It was one of those places where I could slow down and stop worrying about where I needed to go next. And if I come back to Ireland, I already know I'll be spending time there again. Back to Balbriggan. And then, of course, I would go back to Balbriggan because that's where I was staying. After spending the whole day exploring somewhere new, it was actually nice to come back to a familiar place. That's another part of traveling that I love. You can spend the entire day somewhere you've never been, seeing new things and meeting new people, and then come back to your little corner of the world. For me, that was Balbriggan. It became part of the story of my trip, whether I planned it that way or not. It wasn't just where I slept. It became a place I recognized, a place I felt comfortable, and honestly, a place I really enjoyed. Also made my way to Cloggerhead, another beautiful coastal area with a completely different view. And once again, I found myself standing near the ocean with my camera. By this point, I had accepted that the ocean was going to be a major character in this trip. Everywhere I went, I kept coming back to it. There's something about the Irish coastline that makes you want to stop and take it in. The wind, the waves, the cliffs, and that feeling of being right next to the Atlantic. It feels wild, but at the same time, incredibly peaceful. Sometimes you don't need to do anything. You just stand there, look at the water, and enjoy the moment. Cliff cruise. Then I had the chance to experience from the water. I went on the Howth Cliff Cruise, and seeing the coastline from a boat was completely different. When you're standing on the cliffs, you're looking out toward the ocean. But when you're actually on the water, you get to turn around and see those cliffs from a completely different perspective. The coastline looked incredible. The cliffs rising above the water, the boats, the harbor, and the waves all came together, and of course, I had my camera with me the entire time. It was one of those experiences where you don't really need to say much. You can just sit back, enjoy the ride, and let the images tell the story. Temple Bar again, and somehow after all that exploring, I ended up back where the trip started, Temple Bar, and honestly, I had to go back several times. There was just something about the Irish pubs that kept pulling me back. The music, the atmosphere, the people, and the conversations. You can walk into a pub not knowing anyone and somehow end up having a great night. After spending the day traveling around, walking, filming, and exploring, it was the perfect place to relax. Sometimes you don't need another attraction. You just need a good bar, good music, a drink, and a good atmosphere. And Temple Bar definitely became part of my Ireland story. And then there was Laytown, another little stop along the Irish coast, and another place where I could slow down and enjoy a different side of Ireland. What I liked about Laytown was how simple it felt. There wasn't a long list of things I needed to see or do. I could just walk along the beach, feel the wind coming off the Irish Sea, and take in the view. After spending so much time exploring busy cities and different towns, it was nice to have a quiet moment like this. Just the beach, the ocean, the sky, and my camera. And that's something I really learned on this trip. Sometimes the places that stay with you aren't the biggest or most famous ones. They're the quiet little places you discover along the way. I learned very quickly in Ireland is that you don't have to go very far to find something completely different. The train became a big part of my experience. I would get on, find a seat by the window, put my camera away for a little while, and just watch Ireland go by. Green fields, small towns, houses, and sometimes the coastline. Then, before you know it, you're somewhere completely new. That's the kind of travel I really love. You don't always need a plan. Sometimes you just need to get on a train, look out the window, and see where you end up. My Ireland, and eventually I always came back to Balbriggan. The place where I was staying, the place that became familiar, and the place where I started to feel comfortable. I didn't expect that when I came to Ireland. I thought I was going to explore, film beautiful places, and go home with a lot of footage. But I ended up leaving with memories. I'll remember Skerries, the cliffs of Howth, the train rides, Dublin at night, the pubs, and standing next to the Atlantic with my camera. But most importantly, I'll remember how Ireland made me feel. Sometimes the best travel stories aren't the ones you plan. They're the ones you discover along the way. And Ireland gave me a lot of those. I'll definitely be back.